All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome on board. Today, I'm very humbled to have the Director General of IMI with us. Hi, sir. Welcome on board.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fine. I have requested sir to come on the channel and help our students who are going through the entire ruckus of CAT, ZAT, and some of them are applying to Delhi as well. Sir, I'm going to ask you tough questions today. Are you ready for that?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. By the way, sir is a graduate of IIT Delhi. Sir, which year was that?
You don't want to know. Way back. Too long ago.
Was it like 90s?
I'm not even going to answer that question because I don't want people guessing my age.
Sir, I do the same when they ask me, but that's the reason I'm asking you. That's great.
They should guess my age by looking at me and the way I speak, not from when I got my degree.
Oh, that's an IIT Delhi, IIT and talking. Great. By the way, sir का एक और background भी है. हाँ, बहुत interesting बात करेंगे. Sir was a CTO of a company and also he was in the US for nearly 12 years and he did his IIT Delhi engineering. उसके बाद sir ने PhD किया है और फिर आने के बाद MBA किया है. And he was in couple of best of institutions in the country, including MDI Gurgaon. So what is the role at MDI Gurgaon?
I was the director of MDI Gurgaon for little under a year.
Wow, that's so very. Sir, let's begin. So, and you spent some time at Great Lakes as well.
Yeah, I was the director of the Gurgaon campus of Great Lakes for 5 years.
बहुत ही बढ़िया भाई, ये पॉडकास्ट बहुत अमेजिंग होने वाला है. एक इंसान जो कि तीन अच्छे इंस्टीट्यूशंस के डायरेक्टर रह चुके हैं and now he's holding this flag strong at IMI Delhi. Sir, first question: once these students are sitting in the interview process at say IMI Delhi or a Kolkata or when you are taking an interview session, sir, क्या एक्सपेक्ट करते हैं एक स्टूडेंट से आप कि उसका एडमिशन पक्का हो जाए एंड आल्सो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस डू यू आस्क और योर पीयर्स वुड आस्क?
See, essentially we want to look at students and see whether they can think. We are not looking for seeing how well a student is prepared because these days, preparation is fairly easy to do. And there are guys like you and there are other guys. So that in some ways is becoming a commodity. The differentiator for a student is that can he or she demonstrate their ability to think creatively? Because the problems that are going to come up going forward in the world, not just during MBA, but afterwards, are going to be complex problems. They'll be unstructured. They'll be amorphous. They'll not be like a CAT question where there is a right answer, right? Or a JE question back in the day where there is a right answer. So business problems don't have right answers and they may not have a wrong answer either. So we try to put people in a situation where they are kind of made to pause and made to think and given time to answer, how would they approach a problem? Not even what is the answer to a problem, how would they approach it? Because approach is a prerequisite to getting even close to what might be the right answer. And there may be many right answers. If there are 10 right answers for a business problem, even if you can identify 5 of them, then you can do a pros and cons and assess which is the one you should go after. And maybe you want to hedge your bets and go after 2 or 3. But if you don't have the right approach, you're barking up the wrong tree. So we look at approach of thinking.
Super. Sir, give me some questions. By the way, I was on the admissions panel of one of the premier institutions which you and me were talking about. I don't name them on the channel, which is one of your favorites as well. Apart from the stints what you have. So, sir, मेरे को ना पता चल जाता था पहले 3-4 मिनट के अंदर कि I want to invest time in the student or not. So, when you are on this side of the table, does the director or the top faculties in IIMs and maybe your friends, Bhimra Maitri sir, or when you met Mr. Varun sir from SPJain or Ranjan Banerjee sir, जो कि काफी amazing कर रहे हैं. And since they are your peers as well, पता चल जाता है sir? You guys are able to guess?
I think within the first 3 to 4 minutes, you can figure out invest karna hai nahi karna.
Got it.
Because see, even if before you start getting into the approach part, everybody's done an undergraduate degree somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And in some field. And most people in the panel will be smart enough to know at least the fundamental concepts of that field.
Right.
3 लोग होंगे panel में, किसी को तो पता ही होगा.
Right.
So one approach to see कि बंदे में दम है या नहीं is to start asking her or him some very fundamentals about undergrad. And if somebody says that, sir or ma'am, I studied that long ago, that's a definite no-no.
Oh,
Iska
God.
matlab hai, this guy went and studied just to pass exams and get grades and get that piece of paper. Funde clear nahi hue. Because, if your fundamentals were not clear in whatever you studied, it means that it will never be clear later also. Because in MBA, also in marketing, there are some fundamental concepts. In finance, there are some fundamental concepts. In operations, there are fundamental concepts. So if you are a person who never got their fundamentals straight, then you will not get it straight in the future also. And fundamentals you never forget. I remember fundamentals of chemical engineering, which I studied as a BTech student in IIT Delhi, donkeys years ago, even now. And I don't brush up the books. And I don't practice chemical engineering now. Because us time samajh aa gayi thi. It's like knowing, 5 times 2 is equal to 10. You don't forget that just because you don't study math anymore.
तो बेसिक फंडे तो आपको पता होने चाहिए सर. आई एम रियली फीलिंग लाइक आई एम टॉकिंग टू अ सीनियर. वो एनआईटी आईआईटी लिंगो जो होता है ना फंडे वाला, you can still it's still on the top of your mind right now and top of the tongue as well. Great. So भाई अपनी किताबें पक्का पढ़ के जाइए. मैं इनको बोलता हूँ सर एक सब्जेक्ट तो एटलीस्ट पढ़ के जाओ. ये बोलते हैं सर इंजीनियरिंग में कुछ नहीं किया, हमने कुछ नहीं किया, वो पास हुए थे. तो आई टेल देम लाइक वन सब्जेक्ट. नाउ पेपर्स, नाउ द इन्विजिलेटर्स एंड द professors are smart enough. They said ये तो thermodynamics सबको आता है, tell me something more, and they go to the second subject to ask the questions. So number one is that. Sir, you spoke about problem solving skills, so that is again your prerequisite number one. How about the current affairs, sir? Is it good to know like Ukraine war हुआ है, क्या हुआ अभी Palestine चल रहा है? Will it affect their candidature?
No, it does, because if you are looking at admission into a good business school, you should have overall awareness of your environment. And that environment, the lines of geopolitical and business are, becoming very gray. So geopolitical environment has an impact on business environment. So because of that, you have to know, stuff that's happening around you in the world. It's part of your environment, because you can't run a business in isolation, divorced from your environment. And the geopolitical environment is part of it. Chahe Ukraine ho, chahe wo Israel ho, chahe jo marzi ho.
Super, super. What are your favorite questions in which you're able to gauge? ये मैं 3 सवाल पूछूंगा इससे. Like you spent sir 1 hour with me, so do you think I'm going to be good fit for a candidature? आप मुझे समझ पाए अभी तक कि नहीं?
1 hour is a long time. You don't have that luxury in an interview.
Yeah.
1 hour is a long time.
1 hour is a long time. Yeah. What are the few questions you would ask me and say यार मैं 4 question सब मत बताइएगा, because you got to be interviewing them and your team is going to be interviewing them. But
it depends. You tell me what your undergraduate degree is, then I'll ask you something.
Come on, sir. Achha, you want to go that technical? Come on, sir.
No, not technical. At least figure out that if you understood the challenges, the basic concepts.
Achha, sir, it's like, I cannot use the word ragging, but yeah, so वैसा हो जाएगा मेरा, sir. I'm not going to tell you my undergraduate degree because I'm very much closer to you, which you were in chemical. But nevertheless, sir, okay, let's talk about those soft skills. वो पूछते हैं strength, weakness. 5 years from now क्या करना है? And student make some answers. मैं भी इनको help करता हूँ कि मैं 5 साल के बाद दुनिया बदल दूंगा, and 10 साल के बाद तो मैं कंपनी चला रहा हूँगा.
Should I tell you the honest truth from my perspective? I personally think these questions are time fillers. इसमें कुछ पता तो चलता नहीं है, because everybody comes prepared with strengths and weaknesses, and the weaknesses are actually strengths disguised as weaknesses. Nobody will give a real weakness. तो उसमें करने का कोई फायदा नहीं है. And where are you going to be from 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Nobody knows. Why even get into all this, hypothetical questions? I'd rather see कि बंदे में अभी क्या है.
Yeah.
That is a better leading indicator of where that guy is going to go forward than asking her or him, where do you think you'll be? बोलने को तो कुछ भी बोल सकते हो.
True that. But sir, at an undergraduate level, I've now met a lot of kids who have got some clarity in their field. Like, for example, there's a finance guy, he knows like, मैंने CA किया, अब मैं MBA करूंगा और मेरा dream है I-banking में जाने का, and he turns the world upside down to do it. Or for Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and the top schools as well, and they know I want to go to consult में जाना मेरे को, मैं तो, and I'll prepare accordingly. या कोई HUL FMCG का craze है तो वो पहुंच भी जाते हैं sir, वो पहुंच भी जाते हैं. Having some clarity would be helpful.
So having some clarity is helpful, but I would not penalize a guy for not having clarity. I'll tell you why. Because if you have clarity, then you work towards that goal and you will probably, be successful without what I'm calling bhatkoing here and there. right? Because you know, you go in the straight line.
Yeah.
But it is okay to bhatko a little bit, because every place you go, you learn something. I'm a firm believer that no learning is wasted. You know, my entire career has been a lot of meandering, right? Or bhatkoing in Hindi. I have done this. I've done a startup also, by the way, which we didn't discuss when I
Oh,
did
wow.
a startup.
So startup, CTO, PhD, MBA, ideally MBA, ideally BTech.
And then, you know, business school, academic.
And academic, and now director of 3 institutions. By the way, sir takes care of all the IIMs come under him. Wow.
So what I'm saying is that it's obvious that, you know, when I finished my BTech, I didn't know I'm going to be doing this, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I did what I thought would be the most exciting thing at that point in time. And I kept doing that. And I moved from one excitement to another excitement. And that's one thing that I think is very important for students to keep in mind. You must do things that excite you. Don't do things because there is a pot of gold which is hanging there for you to pick up, because that pot of gold itself changes. You know, today, you know, the pot of gold might be, I'm just making up a thing, investment banking. Tomorrow it might be consulting. Day after tomorrow it might be AI. The next day it could be something which doesn't even exist today, right? So the key thing is to follow excitement. If you are not excited, you will not do well at anything. So trying to do something because it's supposedly very good for your career and not enjoying it, not getting excited, you will not excel. And there'll be somebody else who's doing it with excitement, will always beat you and get, you know, better promotions, better jobs, better whatever. So if you know what excites you, you will excel. And if you excel, you will get noticed. If you get noticed, you will rise.
Super.
Something I've done myself, and I'm living proof. So you just follow your excitement.
Super. Great, sir. Sir, thank you so much. This is one of the most humbling. Sir, I want to do a detailed podcast with you someday to discuss your life. Sir has done such amazing things. Sir, coming back to our IMI Delhi thing, बहुत ही amazing कर रहे हैं आप अभी. Average packages are going up. Fees is good, and highest package also has gone up, which is really amazing. Sir, when we talk about the value system of a school like SPJain, my school is like, you know, really value oriented. When I speak to Varun Nagraj, sir, how do we check the values in the interview process at IMI? Is it an integral part of the hiring system of the students?
See, values are always important, Rahul. One easy way, very easy way to check values or honesty, integrity, whatever you want to call it, is if a student says something, I don't know the answer, we actually respect that.
Okay.
We respect that, as opposed to try to make something up, because, you know, the panel is smart enough to know you're making stuff up and you're faffing. And that means you're not dependable. You will try and faff your way through, you know, other things later. Saying that, I don't know, mujhe nahi aata, is a very good answer, because it shows that you recognize that you have limitations. You recognize you are human, and you recognize that you don't have to know everything, and it's absolutely fine.
That's so amazing. Sir, this is so amazing. It's such a humbling experience having you on board. Sir, any parting thoughts to all these great people who are listening to us? Sir, they're all 20, 21-year-old and fighting through those zats of the world. Any parting thoughts to all these great people?
You know, one thing which I strongly believe in, which I tell all my students, as be hungry and be curious beyond what is supposed to be your job. I'm going beyond, you know, beyond MBA now. This is something I tell people when I give my convocation address during convocation, that don't just do what is assigned to you. Don't just try and tick your KRAs and earn your variable compensation. Be curious and hungry to know what is happening around you, what is happening in other departments, what your colleagues are doing, what your bosses are doing. You know, network, meet people over lunch, over coffee, over a beer on a Friday evening, and just figure out what is happening, because it's interesting to figure out what is happening, not because you need it right now to do your job. Believe you me, figuring out all these things tomorrow will help you do things which you may not realize today. Nothing goes waste. No piece of knowledge, no piece of information, no matter how trivial it appears, finally goes waste, because it all finally, you know, helps you to connect the dots and come up with something awesome. So be hungry, be curious.
There's so many things, sir. I could see Steve Jobs, also said the similar things as well. The sir, बहुत amazing. Boys and girls, do it on the like button. A guy who has who has been at the helm of the ship of 3 great institutions is now at IMI Delhi. जो लोग apply करो IMI Delhi के बारे में मुझे बताइए, comment करके बताइए कब आपका डेट है, कब आपका इंटरव्यू, have you filled up the form, any question you have regarding IMI Delhi or regarding sir as well or regarding me, और बताइए. और thank you लिखना for spending time with sir. Sir, I'm not going to let you go. I'm going to keep calling you again and again on the channel and helping these people. I really like you, sir.
Happy to, Rahul.
Thank you so much for joining in. Boys and girls, do it on the like button and see you in the comment section. Take care, sir. Have a good day ahead. Bye-bye.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cut. रुको sir. 16 minutes. Cut करके 14 minutes. Sir, मजा आया?
बहुत मजा